Good evening, children. Welcome back. Welcome to the online classes. As you know, I am your chemistry teacher, right? So, in the previous class, we have started discussing about the chemical classification of matter, right? So, we have proceeded further and we have divided or we have even classified into different categories the matter on basis of chemical nature. So, let us continue the concept. In the last class, we have even started discussing about the pure substances. Sometimes the substances which we commonly call them as a pure or may not be pure in point of chemistry or a chemist. Okay. So, as far as the chemistry is concerned, purity means only existence of a particular compound, a single compound, a single substance, single element. Okay. So, for example, if you are going to see the clear tap water is generally not pure because it is going to contain some dissolved salt in it along with the dissolved air in it. So, it is not a pure substance, as of course as it looks very clear, but it is not pure. Even milk, if you observe milk is composed of fats, vitamins, minerals, etc., carbohydrates. So, this cannot be considered as a pure substance, right? Honey, along with the sweetness, that is sugar, it has so many other components in it. So, honey is also, as it looks very clear, neat and clear, it is not pure as far as the chemist point of view is concerned. Okay. Fruit juices also contain, along with the sweetening agent, the other component, minerals and vitamins are present in fruits. So, they are also not pure, since even though they look very clear and nothing is present, but the combination or the juice itself has some components in it, and this is not a single component, the juice contains so many other components. So, as far as the chemist point of view is concerned, fruit juices are also not considered as a pure substance. Of course, doctor will advise us to take the tablets when we fall ill. So, in that case, what is going to be? We take the tablet, the pure form of tablet is required. Pure form in the sense it is not pure, it is a combination of two or more components that takes place and results in the formation of a medicine. So, medicine, as far as the chemistry point of view is concerned, it is also not completely pure. Okay. So, all these sometimes we call them as pure, but of course, with the chemist point of view, as a chemist we cannot accept them as a pure. Pure means only one substance existence. Okay. We know that as we have classified the pure substance into elements as well as compounds. Okay. This is what we have discussed, elements and compounds. Okay. And elements are further divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay. So, now let us focus on the elements. So, according to our chemical classification of matter, otherwise we can say that the matter on chemical basis classified as, in case of the pure substances, as element and compound. First, let us focus on what is an element is and how we are going to see the elements, how many different elements are available in nature and where they are present, how we compare them, how we study them. All these things we are going to discuss under this particular topic. Okay. An element is defined as the basic form of matter. What is an element? It is the basic form of matter. Matter basic form is element. So, whenever we say any matter, whether it is a solid or a liquid or a gas, matter according to our physical classification, it can be solid, it can be liquid or it can be a gas, it can be a plasma or it can be a Bose-Einstein condensate. Whatever may be the matter that is we are going to take, it will have a basic component. What is that basic form? Basic form of the matter is element. What is it? It is element. So, elements are the basic forms of matter. What are elements? Elements are the basic forms of matter. The fundamental particle, the fundamental material of matter is element. How we are getting element? How we are getting matter? Matter is composed of these elements only. So, the fundamental particle, the fundamental thing in case of matter is the element. So, element is defined therefore as a basic form of matter. What is the matter basic form? Element. And moreover, it is a basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances. We cannot break the element into further simple substance. So, it is the basic form of the matter and we cannot divide or we cannot break it down, we cannot break it down into simpler substance, further simpler substances by chemical means. What it is? By chemical means. So, it is not possible for us to divide the element further by using chemical reactions. Okay. So, what is an element? Simple, just look at the matter. Whatever matter that we are going to take, whether this matter or this matter or that matter, whatever may be the matter that we are going to consider is made up of the element only. So, therefore, basic form of the matter is taken as element and this element we cannot divide it into simpler ones by chemical reaction. Further simplification by using chemical reactions is not possible. I am not talking about the physical means, okay. I am not talking about the physical means. I am talking about the chemical means. By chemical reactions, by using chemical reactions, we cannot break down these elements into further into the simpler substances. So, the simplest chemical substance for the matter is element, we cannot go beyond it, we cannot go beyond it. So, last one is the element, that is what this particular statement is going to give us, okay. Simply just remember that matter is made up of elements, okay, and this element cannot be divided further with a chemical reaction. Only this concept you keep it in mind, do not worry about the bookish type of definition, okay. Or one more way we can divide the elements, the substance that gives same atoms on fine division. What is it? It is the substance which is going to give us same atoms on fine division. So, if we are going to divide the molecule, divide this particular substance, this substance will give us only one kind of atoms, no other kind of atoms are going to come, okay. On fine division, it is going to give same type of atoms, that substance is taken as an element. So, if you take an element and if you divide it, it is going to give us same kind of atoms, same atoms are produced. How many times you go for fine division for that element will give us only one type of or same atoms. So, that substance is taken as element. This is one more way of defining the element. The substance which gives same atoms on fine division is generally called as an element, okay. So, for example, let me take the hydrogen element. Hydrogen in nature exists as H2, okay. So, if we look at this one, it is going to give us 2 hydrogen atoms. So, 2 hydrogen atoms are present, hydrogen element contain hydrogen atoms. So, whenever we go on dividing hydrogen element will give us only hydrogen atoms, same hydrogen atoms are produced. If you take hydrogen in India and if you go on fine dividing it, you are going to end up with the hydrogen atoms. If you go to America and there you collect the hydrogen and start dividing it on fine division, you are going to collect the same hydrogen atoms. So, a substance which is going to give us same atoms on fine division is said to be an element. So, hydrogen is an element. So, hydrogen element, okay. Let us take the oxygen. Oxygen is also an element. So, in nature it exists as O2. But whenever we go for the fine division of oxygen element on fine division will give only oxygen atoms, no other atoms are produced. Hydrogen on fine division will give only hydrogen atom, it will not give oxygen atoms, okay. Oxygen element on fine division will give only oxygen atom, not hydrogen atoms. Are you able to understand? Hydrogen on fine division will give only hydrogen atoms. Oxygen on the other hand on fine division will produce only oxygen atom. So, the substance which will give same atoms on fine division is called as an element. So, element is the substance which is going to give same atoms on fine division. That is one way of defining the element. Or it is the basic form of the matter which cannot be further broken down into simpler substance by chemical reactions. That is also taken as an element. Okay, right. After looking at the definition of element, let us so here you can observe the examples like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, helium, sodium. So you can take so many different examples for the elements. Okay, right. Types of pure substances, in that we are discussing about the elements and how many elements are available to us in nature. How many elements are available to us in nature. So if you observe here, this is the long form of the periodic table. What is it? It is the long form of periodic table. So periodic table long form, if you observe clearly, it has how many elements? It has around 118 elements. How many elements are there? How many elements we have in our nature? We have 118 elements. All these 118 elements are arranged in the periodic table. So please look at this particular periodic table. You can find all the elements in it, and all the elements are available, and they have even given different colors to the elements in order to indicate their nature. Okay, whether they are metals or non-metals or halogens or noble gases. So all the confirmation can be clearly seen in this particular picture. Okay, please have a look at this periodic table. Yeah. So I think you are very clear that here the yellow ones, alkali metals, these ones are alkaline earth metals, these are basic metals. Where they are? Here if you observe, these are the basic metals. Green ones are halogens, you can observe here, green ones are halogens. Okay, and the blue ones are noble gases. Here last extreme end, if you observe, last column, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, all these are noble gases. Okay, and then we have non-metals. Non-metals, if you observe here, you can clearly see carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium. Of course, these are also included as non-metals, right? Rare earth metals. Where we have rare earth metals, you can see here lanthanides. Lanthanides are called as rare earth metals. Semi-metals, sorry, the actinides are there, and we have semi-metals. Semi-metals means they are neither, I mean they will exhibit the properties of metal as well as non-metals. We will come across semi-metals here, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, they are all semi-metals. The transition metal, light blue color, transition metals. So the middle portion of the periodic table, if you observe, these are the metals, transition metals. Okay, so of course you know that the elements are based on their atomic numbers, they are arranged in a periodic table. So hydrogen 1, helium 2, lithium 3, beryllium 4, boron 5, carbon 6, nitrogen 7, oxygen 8, 9, 10, fluorine is 9, neon 10. Then we have sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. So all these are elements. What are all these? They are all elements. So whenever we write the element in this periodic table, if you observe here clearly the notation is given. One example is given for the helium. Okay, so here whatever may be that is written at this end is generally taken as atomic number. We will come across what are atomic numbers, etc. So this end, this corner, what is the number written is taken as atomic number, and here whatever may be written is taken as atomic mass. And here the element symbol is given, He indicates helium, and the name is written below it. So He is the chemical element symbol, and chemical name of the element is helium. So this is how we are going to represent all the elements in the periodic table. We will come across again once we finish the element topic. Okay, right. How the elements are going to exist in nature? How they exist? We know we have already elements are one basic form of the matter. What is an element? Element is basic form of the matter. So, how the matter exists in nature? Matter will exist in nature in three general physical state. If we observe, it exists in three physical states: solid, liquid and gas. So, right. So, in the periodic table also, if we observe, some of the elements, elements may be solids, or they may be, some of the elements may be liquids, some of the elements may be gases. So, the elements may be solids, liquids and gaseous elements. Okay, let us look at first what are the gaseous elements we have in the periodic table. So, what are the gaseous elements? These are very important ma. So, in case of examination we can expect which are the following is gaseous element. So, in that case you are supposed to get the answer. Okay. So, among all the known elements in the periodic table, only these elements are existing as gases. Okay. Hydrogen, first one, hydrogen in nature exists as a gas. Nitrogen in nature exists as gas. You know, air is composed of nitrogen and oxygen. Oxygen also exists as gas. Of course, you may be not knowing about these ones. Chlorine also exists as a gas in nature. Fluorine also exists as a gas in nature. Okay. And all the noble gases, the elements what we have seen at the last corner, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, they are all gaseous in nature. Okay. So, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine and noble gases all put together around 11 elements are gases in nature. How they exist in nature? These elements in nature exist in gaseous form. Okay. How they are existing? Hydrogen will exist as H2. This is hydrogen. Okay. Hydrogen in nature exists as H2. Nitrogen in nature exists as N2. Nitrogen in nature will exist as N2. Oxygen in nature exists as O2. Right. Fluorine in nature exists as F2. Chlorine in nature exists as Cl2. And the noble gas, as I told you, they existed as monoatomic gases. Monoatomic gases, if you observe hydrogen, how many atoms of hydrogen are present in the case of hydrogen gas? H2, 2 atoms are present. But in the case of helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, in all these 6 elements if you observe, they are existing as monoatomic. How they are existing in nature? They are existing in nature as monoatomic gases. So, what are monoatomic gases? Noble gases are monoatomic gases. So, the elements which exist as monoatomic gases are noble gases. Okay. The elements which are gases generally exist as diatomic. If you take hydrogen, okay, it will H2. Nitrogen is N2, two nitrogen atoms are combined together. Oxygen is O2, fluorine is F2, chlorine is Cl2. So, all these are having 2 atoms. So, these are called as diatomic. They are called as diatomic gases. These are diatomic gases, that is hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine. Okay, 5. Okay, these 5 are existing as diatomic gases, and the remaining 6, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. These 6 noble gases are existing as monoatomic in nature. So, all put together, these are 5 and these are 6. Total how many we have elements in the gaseous form? 11 elements are gases. Okay, 11 elements in the periodic table are gases. What are they? Hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine, fluorine, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So, total we have 11 elements in periodic table exist in the form of gases, right. Next is existence of the elements in a liquid form. How many elements in a periodic table in nature they are existing as liquids? So, among all the known elements, whatever may be the elements that we have known, presently we are almost all the elements are known to us, 118 elements are known to us. Okay. So, among the 118 elements, mercury and bromine, mercury Hg, we represent it as Hg. Bromine, we represent it as Br. Okay. Mercury and bromine are liquids at room temperature. So, only two elements in the periodic table, they exist as liquids at room temperature. What are they? Mercury and bromine. What about mercury? Mercury is a metal. So, only liquid metal is mercury. Mercury is a liquid and moreover it exhibits metallic properties. So, the liquid metal in periodic table, only liquid, all the metals are solids, only one metal in periodic table is liquid. What is that? Mercury. So, only liquid metal is mercury. Okay. Right. Coming to the bromine, bromine is non-metal. So, only liquid non-metal, all the non-metals are generally they are gases like nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, fluorine gas, chlorine gas. So, most of the non-metals are gases, but only non-metal which is liquid is bromine. Okay. So, in periodic table, among all the elements that are known to us, only two elements are liquids at room temperature. One is mercury, other is bromine. Mercury represented with Hg, bromine is represented with Br2. Okay. So, here if we observe, mercury is a metal. So, only liquid metal in the periodic table is mercury. Bromine is non-metal. Generally, non-metals exist as gases, but only non-metal which is existing as liquid at room temperature is bromine. So, these are the areas where we can expect the question in the examination. So, you should be very careful. Mercury liquid, but it is a metal. Bromine also liquid, but it is a non-metal. Okay. Right. Then what about the solid elements? How many solid elements we have? Of course, when you remove the gaseous elements and liquid elements, all other remaining elements are solids. So, all other elements except the gases and liquid elements are solid elements. So, except the 11 gaseous elements, 2 liquid elements, remaining all are what? They are all solids. So, we have 11 gaseous elements, okay, and 2 liquid elements, so total 13. So, we have in total the number of elements in the periodic table is 118. So, if we are going to remove these 13, remaining 105 elements, they are all solids in nature. Okay, are you able to understand? 11 elements in the periodic table are gases, 2 elements are liquids, and remaining 105 elements are solids at room temperature. Okay. Some of the examples of solid: carbon, sodium, potassium, calcium, barium. Carbon, you know, it is represented with C, sodium represented with Na, potassium represented with K, okay. Calcium represented with the Ca, barium is represented as Ba, okay. So, etc. we can clearly see. So, in total if we observe, element is the pure form of the nature, matter, okay, and it cannot be further divided by chemical means into finer substances, first thing, okay. And if we observe the elements in nature, we have 118 elements in our hand, and among these elements if you observe, we have solid elements, liquid elements and gaseous element. So, only 11 elements are gases, 2 elements are liquid, and remaining elements in nature exist as solids. Okay. That is what we have discussed. Now, let us further focus on the classification of elements. Elements on further division on a chemical basis, they can be classified as metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay. Let us focus on these further classification of elements into metals and non-metals. Let us first look at the metals. So, among the elements in the periodic table, more than 75% are metals. So, among the 118 elements that we are having in the periodic table, so in 118 elements 75 percentage are metals, okay. Where they are located? So, we just said that the elements in the periodic table, most of them are metals, more than 75 percentage of the elements are metals only, right. But where they are located? If we observe the periodic table carefully, we can see that these metals where they appear? They appear on the left side of the periodic table. Where we can find? We can find at the left side. Just now we have seen the total periodic table, right. So, if you take the two sides, that is right side and this is left side, okay. So, when you observe the metals, where they are they are located in the periodic table, they are located at the left side. So, the left portion is completely filled up with metals, and moreover among the total elements that are available, 75 percentage are metals only, okay. They appear on the left side of the periodic table. These are solids at room temperature. As I told you, most of the metals except the mercury is metal, but it is liquid at room temperature. Remaining all the metals, they are all solids at room temperature. All the metals are solids except the mercury, okay. Right, you can see here metals we generally come across: gold, silver, bronze, steel, aluminium, iron, copper, all these are metals. You can clearly see the metals, okay. And if you observe the properties, metals generally possess high melting points and boiling points. What are these MP and BPs? Melting points, okay, melting points and boiling points. We have discussed how the boiling point and melting points are going to be seen in the conversion of matter, how we are going to convert the matter one state into the other state, there we have discussed, right. So, these are the elements which are having higher melting points and higher boiling points. So, these possess which one? Metals possess high melting points and high boiling points. So, high boiling points and high melting points are present for metals. So, metals generally exhibit higher melting points and higher boiling points, and metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. You know that the copper wires are used for the electrical systems that we are going to run, the bulb, the fan, etc. How we are going to run? We are going to run through the electric wire. What is the metal that is present inside? It is the copper metals, right. So, the material that is made or the material that is present inside for carrying out the current or the transfer of current. So, we are going to use metals. Why? Metals are good conductors. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. So, the good conducting nature of heat and electricity of metals can be easily seen our day to day life, okay. I think for example, if we are going to keep the iron rod, let us say iron rod in half into the sun in on a summer day and half in other side, you can clearly see the one part which is kept in exposed to the sun gets heated up easily and the heat slowly transferred to the other side. So, the other side also you can, when you touch it, you can clearly observe the heat transferred. So, it becomes very hot, right. So, the main reason is that they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals generally possess the electrons are going to conduct the heat and electricity and thereby they exhibit good conductivity. So, metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. These that is metals are malleable and ductile. Malleable, they can be made into very thin sheets or they can also made into the wire form. As you know, the electric poles, the wires are made. How the wires are made from the metal? Because the metals are malleable and ductile, they can be drawn into thin wires as well as very thin sheets. So, they can be hammered with a hammer and so that they can be drawn into very thin sheets or they can also be converted into wire form. So, the formation of wire as well as the formation of sheets can be seen with respect to the metals, okay. And these react with the dilute acids and thereby they produce the corresponding components. So, the metals react with the acids, okay. So, we will see some more concept related to the metals and as well as non-metals in the upcoming class, and there even we are going to discuss about the differences between the metals and non-metals, and then we will discuss about the metalloids as well. So, okay. So, I think you have enjoyed today's class with regarding to the elements and their classifications and the gaseous forms as well as liquid forms, the solid forms, and then the classification of elements into metals and non-metals. We will see some more concept related to the metals and non-metals in the upcoming class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.